Love it. It's adorable.
Great open. All right. In today's Wellness Wednesday, we're taking a closer look at mental health.
Joining us today is mental health advocate and a representative of the National Alliance on Mental Health, California. Britt Turnback, so great to see you. A friend of mine as well. Thank you for joining us.
Guys, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I am so honored to be here. Thank you.
Well, I'm telling you, I respect and admire the work you do so much. Talk a little bit about mental health in general and why it is so important to all of us.
First of all, I love that question. And, you know, statistically speaking, 1 in 5 adults in the United States will experience a mental health condition every single year. And what's so scary about that is that the majority of them won't get help. But regardless of whether or not you are one of those 5, anybody listening is one of those 5, we all have mental health. And so one of my personal missions is to get people to start prioritizing their mental health just as much as they do their physical health.
And Britt, when you think about all that we've all been through over the past year and a half, things shut down. We're a very social society. We were literally forced to become introverted in many ways. And some of us are, more naturally that way. Other people, it was torture. What in general, I know it's hard to get down into specifics, but what in general do you think people are dealing with that they might not even know they're dealing with?
I mean, just even the everyday stress from isolation, I think, and naturally we underestimated the negative mental health side effects of being isolated from education and the kids with school or employment or social activities. And in these moments of isolation, life can be very confronting, and you're not only sitting alone with your thoughts, but it sometimes just feels like you are alone. And I think, at least from my experience, and I always speak from my experience, I'm not a medical professional, I'm an expert in my own lived experience, that vocalizing that you need help or vocalizing that you're not okay because you feel alone can be one of the toughest components around this whole mental health crisis.
And I definitely feel like I've had more of those conversations with my friends than I ever have. And it's been, I think, comforting to hear from my friends, me too. It's like, oh, this is so hard, or oh, I feel this way, because you do sometimes. I think there's a lot of shame sometimes associated with that feeling of, oh, I don't feel right. I'm blessed in so many other ways. Talk a little bit about that.
It's so funny. I actually just had this conversation with somebody yesterday on a hike. There's so much shame and stigma around this conversation of mental health. And I think it's really easy to, I believe it is important to acknowledge, look, if you're able to have a roof over your head or food on your plate, and I know that's not the case for everybody, but just acknowledging that we each have individual experiences. And so whatever may be going on for us, just the acceptance of knowing what your stressors are and knowing what your fears are and even your joys are in life, and just trying your best to hold space for all of it. And without judgment. Exactly.
Britt, when we talk about what people are going through, I don't mind sharing that for me, I think, I have 4 daughters, 2 of them were at college. They came home because of the pandemic. They've been home for the past year and a half unexpectedly. A very spacious house became a bit more crowded. So we were kind of on top of each other. They got jobs and went to school, so they put a lot of stress on themselves during the pandemic. What about family structures and keeping those healthy? Because I think, I'm not above admitting that it's been hard on me because, work has had, work had to be modified because of stuff. Home is modified. I haven't seen my mother, who's in her 80s, in a year and a half in person, and I'm looking forward to doing that soon now that restrictions are being lifted. What about like family unit stuff? Like just how can we help families?
I think the best thing that we can do is just check in on our loved ones, whether they are directly in our space, like your talking about your daughters or even your mom who you haven't physically seen, and just asking somebody how they are, whether that be through a text or a phone call, and whether you're living with them or not, and just holding space for them. I think we forget people just want to feel seen and heard, no matter what it is that they are going through. And a lot of times, I'm just generally speaking, when we ask somebody how they are, it's almost just like this autopilot narrative where it's like, how are you? But then you don't actually listen, and it's on to the next thing. Why not try taking a pause and genuinely really listening without giving advice, and maybe, like I said, just holding space for that someone to acknowledge how they're feeling, whether those feelings are positive feelings or negative feelings. And it's so simple. Like, I'm not saying that check-in fixes everything, but it's a small way that we can create positive momentum moving forward.
Right.
In our direct communities.
And real quick, men, women, different in how they are going to tackle the challenges of mental health?
Again, I only speak from my own experience. What I've noticed, at least in my direct communities, are that men actually sometimes have this extra layer of stigma that they have to deal with, because there's this expectation to, but I think women have it too. So I take that back. It's on both sides. But like men, you're not supposed to cry. You're not supposed to share your feelings. You're not supposed to emote. And then you have women on the other side of things, having this need to like take care of everybody else except themselves. And really, one of the things that I so wholeheartedly believe in with my mental health and my recovery are my self-care practices. And I think that speaks for everybody, no matter what your background is, because by showing up as, the healthiest, most well-balanced version of ourselves, we are then able to show up for our loved ones, our friends, our coworkers, our people in our community and space.
And before we go, I do want to get some of those strategies to manage the stress. You talk about self-care. So what are some tips? What can Chris do to decompress, when he needs to just kind of get out of the house for maybe he's got 30 minutes or...
I mean, the list is right here. I'm a huge fan of nature, yoga, mindfulness, meditation. I have a very diligent morning routine where I meditate every morning for 20 minutes. But you know what? Even if you don't have that, there are positive tools that you can incorporate throughout your day that just take a few moments. So if it's 3 p.m. and you get a work email, or you just got in an argument with a spouse or a kid or something, try placing one hand on your heart, one hand on your lower stomach, and just taking a deep breath, holding it for a few moments, and then exhaling it all out. And even just doing that 2 or 3 times, it's a helpful reset to bring your mind, body, heart all back into the same space. I'm such a huge fan of the pause. So before reacting to situations, creating pauses, even through breath, that will allow you to consciously respond.
And these all sound so easy, and yet they are so effective once you do them. No, it's true. And we fight it. I think we fight it a lot of times. Britt, we're running out of time. We want to tell folks, first of all, there's going to be a TED Talk we need to look out for from you.
Yes,
so congratulations on that. Yes.
Thank you.
So we will be looking for that, and that's going to drop when?
June 27th.
June 27th. And for more information, you can visit meetbritt, that's 2Ts.com. meetbritt.com, or you can visit any of the mental health resources on your screen.
And those are my 3 favorite mental health resources. So.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for sharing them with us. We're also going to post this on our website as well, ktla.com/offtheclock. Britt, you are a breath of fresh air always. Thank you.
Thank you, Britt.
Yes.
Get your coffee, get your day.
That's the theme. I love it. Get your coffee, get your day. Cheers, girl. Have a good one.